It's the end of the world. Just kidding. As we really look at this space, we are now starting to see the final capitulation in this wave. Is this going to be the last shakeout or the last pullback? Absolutely not. Listen, anyone that's telling you that this is going to be the last crash or this or that, it's ridiculous. Ignore them. We will see pullbacks along the way, but I do believe that this is our final capitulation within this wave before the impulsive move to the upside. And we are finally getting that. And it's actually very exciting to see this because, again, we know what happens after this. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are out there new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. As we look at Bitcoin, it just had a major wave down, which we will talk about on the 24-hour span. Barely any green. This is basically the Red Sea of altcoins. Last 7 days, again, barely any green. This is the Red Sea of altcoins. And even if we go over here to the gainers and losers, let's be honest, it's very easy to take positions in crypto, but it's extremely hard to actually have a game plan in place when the time comes to take profits. And that's exactly why I released a completely free exit plan that you can apply to literally every single position that you take in crypto. And the best part about it is that it's completely free. All you have to do to get access is go to the link down in the description below and claim your access now. What are you waiting for? Capture those profits. Barely anything's green on the 24-hour span. On the 7-day span, again, barely anything green. And on the 30-day span, guys, these gains are absolutely nothing. And this is in the top 100. As we do look at the top 500, there is going to be some green. 24-hour span, again, some green, nothing too crazy. 7-day, or that was a 24-hour span, sorry. The 7-day span, we could see some green, nothing too crazy as well. And then, of course, the 30-day span is where you'll see most of the, illiquid projects moving, some nice gains across the board, but for the most part, we are not even close to having a full bounce back to where we were at back in March. Now, this is what Bitcoin has been doing in the last 24-hour span. And again, as we look at this, right, the number one thing to remember is this is all still a part of the time frame capitulation that we talked about recently. We still have a few levels that we need to watch for on Bitcoin just to ensure that we are still bullish, right? Because we're still going to be focused on that. And we're going to be addressing that in this video. But overall, we wanted to see this. We like to see this. This is not a bad thing. I know that we are, programmed to think red is bad, green is good, but flip that. When you see things like this, where the market is just selling off and capitulating on emotions and what, the retail sector is thinking right now, it's a very good sign because typically what we see is a major bounce in the market after this. And also, this is very good for resetting the sentiment. Right now, the fear and greed index is well under 50, which is a very good sign. This is the last 1 year, for an example. We are back down to 48.77. We are back into neutral territory. This is a very good thing. Again, don't always look at it in, oh, the price is down, it must be bad. Look at it as price is down. This is good. It's resetting the sentiment. And what is going to happen next? And then what you can do is gauge sentiment within the market, which we will talk about. But this isn't a video. So everyone has been making the argument that, NVIDIA is up over 1,200%. When this thing corrects, it's going to be nasty. I mean, we might see this like massive 46% drop back to like a major area of, interest, 30% or so. Could even come back down to a major demand zone. We're talking about 66% or so. And everyone's making the argument that, once NVIDIA corrects, that's it, crypto's going with it. But this is not the case. Everyone is making this a huge argument point. Over here, Credible Crypto actually put out a post regarding this. He said, Bitcoin rallying past $100,000 while trad stonks, or if you will, traditional stocks, start faltering / putting in tops is going to bring all eyes on crypto. Attention that will only serve to amplify our parabola / blow off top on Bitcoin in the coming months. Now, yes, as we really look at this, right, I truly believe that we are going to see one of the largest rotations in crypto, which is going to really kind of start from, Nvidia. We were looking at the GameStop, narrative as well. I still think that might play a role in it. We don't know. But stocks have been going crazy. Over here from Crypto Insight UK, and it's an individual that actually responded to him, and we have things are different this time around though. Will, and he's talking about Crypto Insight because his name is Will. ETF money unlikely to distribute to alts in the same way previous runs saw that flow away from Bitcoin. Also, first-time regulations are breathing down our backs. Macro are different too. I hope you're right, but it is not a given. And this is in a response to, just so everyone is aware, it is normal to see drawdown in your portfolio. I know for months we are grinding upwards, but these last 100 plus days are not abnormal. Don't freak yourself out and don't believe in the timeline, or don't believe the timeline. Now, listen, as we think about that, yes, this is all normal. Listen, if you look at the long-term span of Bitcoin, like look at this chart. Are you kidding me? We're having a slight pullback and everyone's panicking. It's insane to me. But this is exactly what I mean. I'm not singling you out here, brother, but just highlighting the feeling and narrative some people might be seeing and hearing. Everything you've said below is true. Every cycle is different, but also the same. Last cycle, there was constant FUD and the cycle before. But in terms of the trend and in terms of following the blueprint set out by history, this is no different. Trends will trend no matter what you feel or think. And this speaks volumes because what we have been looking at is what type of narratives are out there. What's trying to persuade you to not think that we will have a big bull run or an alt season? And it is, the ETF narrative, the macro, it's regulations, institutions. Like it's so many narratives out there now that are just hinting at us not being bullish at a time where we should technically be bullish. I put out a post actually regarding what's happening in the market. And I said, just waiting for the impulse, because now that we are seeing this big wave down, we are waiting for the impulsive move to the upside. And yes, it will happen. Yes, it will come. And yes, we will be prepared. Full moon cycle begins on July 5th. If you do follow the moon cycles, I know that there's a lot of people out there that actually follow them, to the T. They technically do provide us with substance. For an example, if you go all the way back to like FTX, the moon cycle was hinting at us being bearish anyways, and then we got the FTX news. So again, moon cycles, although it might be a coincidence, they have been pretty on par for the longest time. So I do think that the full moon cycle beginning on July 5th, it's not going to be a full moon on July 5th, but in like the first 2 weeks of July, it's pretty much hinting at us being very bullish. And it does kind of play into the narrative of the Ethereum ETFs. And I said first week of July is when analysts are predicting that ETH ETFs begin trading. Price action has been stagnant for over 100 days, just building pressure. What do you think happens next? And outside of this, right, you have money market funds. There is over, in terms of the retail sector, almost $5 trillion locked away in money market funds. Now, a money market fund is good for, earning on your money, especially even during inflation, which is why there is a lot of money locked behind these. But it's also good for, really kind of preparing for a major recession, depression, or even like something like '08, for an example, which is like just a major, crash. So that's why we are seeing a lot of money in these money market funds. But what happens if Bitcoin does surge to $100,000 and mainstream media is force feeding them, the bullish news every single day? And what do you think starts to happen? Well, money starts trickling from money market funds into crypto, even into stocks too. I mean, we've seen this overall amount of money fall for well over a year, actually 2 years now. And in my opinion, a lot of that money, was kind of flowing into the Bitcoin ETF narratives or Bitcoin or crypto itself, or even TradFi stocks. So if we really think about that, I do think that some of this money has already trickled out a bit, but this is all sideline cash essentially, just preparing for, a crash, or, maybe they're trying to defeat inflation. Whatever the case may be. Now, outside of this, as we look at Bitcoin, this is the overall Bitcoin chart. We are really kind of teetering on that trend line that I have on the chart, and I've had this on the chart for a while now. And as you guys can see, there was wicks in the past down to the 786. This is the 786 Fibonacci level on the retracement. If we do come down to that level, first off, we would have to break through some significant key areas of interest. For an example, the first 20 weekly EMA at $61,867 is the first area that we actually need to break down through. Now, from that point, people are going to start calling for crazy prices. They're going to say, all right, that's it. 51K is next, or $43,000 is next. In my opinion, it's all going to be a lot of bearish noise at that time. In my opinion, this level here, $60,181 to 786. This is our lifeline. I don't think that we see it. In fact, I would love for us to possibly have like a scam wick down below this trend line, regain it quick, have a little bit of a grind, and then just go crazy off of the trend line. And that way we really kind of target the 71.8K level, ultimately retarget the $74,000 level, and then from there we really kind of look for 80 to 100K pretty quick. And again, I'm very bullish right now. In fact, I'm actually very happy that we are seeing this major drawdown in the market. Just to give you guys a quick insight, right? Here we have Bitcoin selling off 23.35%. Then it ran up 27%. These pullbacks, this entire grind, right? This has been just an entire chop fest grind. All of this is good for, bringing in liquidity, building momentum, building pressure so that the next big move here is monumental. Again, I've already given you guys my insight on the fact that if we go back here to when, Bitcoin was trading at around roughly like 43,000, 39.9K, this entire move here was 56 days of just sideways momentum that broke out in a very large way, because even off of the midline, I'm just going to go off of the midline, this thing was up over 79%. So as we are chopping sideways for over 100 days, do you think that it would be crazy, say for so even if we come back down to, $60,000, I'm just going to go off of 61.8K. Just imagine a 70% move. And by the way, it did not take long for Bitcoin to do that 70% plus move, because this was roughly 35 days. In 35 days, do you think that it would be crazy for Bitcoin to do a 70% plus move to well over $100,000? Absolutely not, especially when we have been, just going sideways, building momentum, building liquidity. In my opinion, this next big move on Bitcoin is going to catch a lot of people off guard, because right now the sentiment is bearish. You need to be bearish. You need to be bearish because it's all red. It's this, that, whatever. And it's all just building upon the psychological warfare that this space does provide you. It will mess with your emotions. At the same exact time though, Bitcoin dominance has barely been moving, which is why, although altcoins are bleeding out right now, they're not extremely red on the daily. I mean, even in the last 24-hour span, XRP is down 2.4%, Solana's down like 5.5%. Again, some of these altcoins will act different, but Ethereum is down 2.79%, Dogecoin down 2%. Like, these are not substantial losses versus, what we've seen in the past when Bitcoin has had a major sell-off, because again, Bitcoin dominance is not pumping while Bitcoin is dropping. When that happens, that's when altcoins get completely, slammed. But beyond that, right, here's the total. I want to actually share with you guys real quick where we are at right now, in my opinion, on the total crypto market cap. So 46.92% away from the all-time high from where this bottom candle was back in April. Just to give you guys a quick insight, right? This is 2020. This is December of 2020. We were 47.93% away from the all-time high. And once we broke it, we went absolutely crazy. Again, look at the price action there. Although, yeah, we weren't, trailing for X amount of days here as we were back there, it was still a range that we were in. And, in my opinion, that's basically where we were at. We're basically in that, end of November, beginning of December, possibly even like the middle of December type of time frame, where we're just waiting for the impulsive move in the market. And in my opinion, the next big impulsive move here is going to be very significant, and it will take us to the all-time high and even go into price discovery. Now, what about altcoins, right? Altcoins are in a very similar position, except guess what? Here we have, and I just want to share with you guys real quick, this sideways price action. We have been ranging for 105 days. Here is altcoins back in 2020. This is like November into December, even into January. Off of the top here, this thing was ranging for about 35 days before it went absolutely crazy parabolic. So we are well over the 35-day time frame, but the longer that we go sideways, the higher that we go. And remember, as we look at the market cap today versus 2020 into 2021, yes, we do need to range a little bit longer. Yes, we need to get more liquidity because the upward move here is to 1 trillion plus. But you guys have this horizontal line on this chart, right? This horizontal line is depicting the same high from April of 2018 from the all-time high of 2018. Again, this is the high of 2022 after the top in 2021. And if you look at this, right, we came very close to hitting that all-time high recently. It was about 5.83% away. If we actually look at this back here, right, or not the all-time high, the recent high, right? We were actually roughly away from this about 12%, 13%. So we were already kind of getting close to that point there, very similar to, back in this time. And remember, right, market caps are different, so the percentages are going to be a bit different. But I do think that we are in this time frame right here on this chart, like this over here, and you do see what ended up happening once we ended up breaking out. And yes, we smashed right through the all-time high because this first area is where all of the major resistance is, and just slightly under it is where we were trading at, and the same is over here. And once we did break out, okay, once we did officially break out, the altcoin market went crazy with a 6.5x in a very short amount of time. We're talking about roughly 126 days before it went absolutely crazy. In my opinion, that's the exact same position that we are at right now on this chart, just building momentum, waiting for that big break to the upside. And as we do look at XRP, Hbar, Cspr, or even QNT and even Cspr, like these charts are not changing right now. They're just kind of flat, building a little bit of momentum, but for the most part, they're all flat, just ranging, waiting for a big break. And that will happen when Bitcoin dominance breaks down. Right now, I'm not really focused too much on altcoins, if I'm being honest. I'm more so focused on what Bitcoin is about to do and then what Ethereum is about to do, because we're in phase 1 still of Altseason, phase 2 follows, and then after that is when we really want to be looking into altcoins. So I hope that really kind of answered you guys' questions about where we are at right now in the cycle, what's happening right now in the cycle. And for those out there that were panicking, maybe you guys are a little bit scared, hopefully, this kind of calmed your nerves a little bit if you needed that. But regardless, I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on every single platform. Links are down in the description below. Join the free Discord as well to make sure that you get access to exclusive updates. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.